What is a taboo? A forbidden line you must never cross. What if breaking a rule didn't just cause trouble, but demanded something precious in return? In Fullmetal Alchemist, the taboo of human transmutation is more than forbidden. It comes with a brutal price. But here's a question. Why does Japan, a country so polite and orderly, create stories where rules are so terrifyingly strict? In this video, we'll explore what taboo really means in Japanese culture. Not just a rule you shouldn't break, but a line that, once crossed, permanently changes who you are. And often, no amount of regret can undo what's been done. It's not about guilt, it's about consequence. So what lies behind these invisible boundaries? And what does Fullmetal Alchemist teach us about crossing them? Let's take a deeper look into the philosophy of don't. The cost of forbidden knowledge, what the Elric brothers lost. In Fullmetal Alchemist, the Elric brothers commit the ultimate taboo, human transmutation, to bring their mother back to life. But the price they pay is devastating. Ed loses his leg, Al loses his entire body. And to save his brother, Ed gives up an arm. They don't go to jail. No one scolds them. Instead, they suffer a loss so deep, it haunts them forever. In this world, knowledge has weight. Power comes with consequences. It's not about good or bad. It's about crossing a boundary you were never meant to cross. This is more than fantasy drama. It's a reflection of a real idea in Japanese thought, that some acts break the natural order. And when you disturb that order, something must be paid. The Elrics didn't just break a rule. They broke the balance. And the world responded with silence, not mercy. Taboo and Kejime, the Japanese way of accepting consequences. In many cultures, breaking a rule means punishment from outside. But in Japan, there's a deeper idea. Kejime. Kejime means taking responsibility with dignity. Not because someone forces you, but because you know it's right. It's about drawing a line between who you were before the mistake and who you must be after it. In Fullmetal Alchemist, Ed and Al don't make excuses. They don't blame the world. They choose to accept the pain. That's Kejime, a silent, personal decision to carry your failure and grow from it. Japanese culture doesn't always say don't fail, but it does say, if you fall, take responsibility and rise with resolve. The Elrics are not punished by law. They are punished by life. And still they walk forward. Kegare and purification, a Japanese view of broken order. In ancient Japan, there's a word for spiritual pollution, Kegare. It means something has disturbed the natural balance. Not because of evil, but because something went too far. Death, blood, or violating sacred rules all create Kegare. And when Kegare spreads, it must be purified. This isn't punishment, it's restoration. A way to bring the world back into harmony. In Fullmetal Alchemist, human transmutation creates Kegare. Not just in Ed and Al, but in the world around them. Their missing limbs, their haunted eyes. They are not just consequences, but symbols of imbalance. In Japanese culture, pain is not just a result. It is often a signal. A sign that something invisible has been broken, and that something deeper must be healed. The Elrics don't ask for forgiveness. They walk the path of purification. Step by step, they try to make the world whole again. Know your place, harmony, nature, and the limits of power. In Japanese culture, there's a deep respect for nature's balance. Not just the environment, but the natural flow of all things. People are not above nature. They are a part of it, small, temporary, and limited. Trying to go beyond that is dangerous. Because the moment you try to play God, the balance fights back. In Fullmetal Alchemist, the Elric brothers try to override death itself. They don't ask if they should, only if they can. But nature doesn't allow shortcuts. It demands payment. In Japanese thought, power is not just about strength. It's about knowing when to stop, to know your place, and to act with humility. The Elrics learn this truth the hard way. Their journey is a reminder. When you forget your limits, the world will remind you. East versus West, why Taboo feels different in Japan. In many Western stories, breaking a rule makes the hero bold. It means thinking freely, challenging limits, and pushing progress. But in Japan, crossing a line often leads to tragedy. Why is that? In the West, power is something to reach for. In Japan, power comes with restraint. In Fullmetal Alchemist, the Elric brothers don't become stronger for breaking rules. They become broken and must rebuild slowly. Taboo in Japan isn't just about fear. It's about respect. Respect for balance, for the things we cannot control, for the unseen forces that keep the world turning. So here's a question for you. In your culture, what happens when someone crosses the line? Are they seen as brave or reckless? Let us know in the comments. Because how we view taboos tells us a lot about our values. The responsibility of power, what it means to be a real alchemist. In Fullmetal Alchemist, knowledge is not forbidden. What's forbidden is how you use it. The Elric brothers knew the rules, but they thought they could handle the risks. They didn't steal, lie, or cheat, but they tried to bring back the dead and paid the price. In Japanese culture, power is never neutral. It always comes with responsibility. It's not enough to say I meant well. You must think ahead. Consider what your actions may cost others. A true alchemist isn't someone who can do amazing things. It's someone who knows when not to act. And if they make a mistake, they don't run. They face it. The Elrics aren't just trying to fix their bodies. They're trying to become people who deserve the power they once misused. Growth through guilt, carrying the weight without running away. In many stories, redemption means forgiveness, a second chance, a clean slate. But in Japanese culture, redemption often means something else. Carrying the weight of your mistake every single day. The Elric brothers never forget what they did. They don't ask to erase it. They use it to become better. In Japanese thinking, real growth doesn't come from moving on. It comes from living with the past, not as a burden, but as a guide. This is why the brothers never stop. Every step they take is an act of apology, and a promise to never repeat the same mistake. Guilt, when faced with honesty, becomes strength. In Fullmetal Alchemist, the true journey isn't just to restore what was lost. It's to become worthy of what they once tried to take. And in that journey, they become more than alchemists. They become human. Modern taboos. Do we still pay a price for crossing the line? In today's world, do taboos still exist? We may not talk about them, but we still feel them. Lines we know not to cross. Words we know not to say. Actions we know will cost us something, even if no one says so. In modern Japan, shame can be stronger than punishment. A quiet rejection. A social silence. These are not rules in law books. They are rules written in the air. And when we break them, the price isn't loud. It's quiet, but it lasts. Fullmetal Alchemist reminds us that some things can't be undone. Not because of magic, but because of meaning. Today, we still face choices with invisible weight. How much are we willing to pay for the things we try to take before we're ready? And when we lose something we can't get back, will we still have the strength to walk forward? The unspoken lesson. What Fullmetal Alchemist really teaches us. Fullmetal Alchemist is not just a story about alchemy. It's a story about limits. About what happens when we try to reach too far, too fast. It shows us that knowledge alone isn't enough. That power without wisdom brings pain. And that some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. In Japan, these ideas are deeply rooted. Knowing your place. Respecting what you don't understand. Not because you're weak, but because you understand the weight of consequence. The Elric brothers learned this lesson through loss. Through silence. Through scars. But they also learned that pain is not the end. It can be a beginning. A path toward becoming not perfect but real. In the end, the true alchemy may not be about transmutation. It's about transforming guilt into growth, regret into purpose, and crossing back from the line. Not by erasing what happened, but by choosing to live differently from that day on. This is just one example of Japan's unique way of thinking. Do people in your country do the same, or is it completely different? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. And if you liked this, subscribe for a new video every day. See you tomorrow at the same time.